All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, welcome back. Again, check, you can see we got some better coverage. We had some really bad coverage. I mean, it was horrendous. It was like 3G, not even 3G. It was like 2G, like the first iPhone series that came out. But anyway, so we're getting right back into it. So we left off with the hot air balloon. Again, we got more coverage there. We were just arriving into New Mexico. As you hopefully can recall if you saw part one, I got lucky, I timed it good. Hopefully this time the refrigerator just dropped into its nightly slumber. Hopefully it'll stay quiet for this whole episode. We try to get it done before it wakes back up. It's like a demon beast. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that buttermilk like we were talking about. We're gonna try to put some sandbags on there. This is gonna be tricky. I never thought I'd be like painting a sandbag. You don't need a lot because these are just gonna be. The idea is to have them kind of teardrop shape. It's like which would be essentially a sandbag shape. But we're gonna basically probably just do like some dots. I mean, you know how I feel about dots, but this is an appropriate situation for dots right now. So I arrive into New Mexico. You know, I already said it was sort of a Jimmy full of grace situation where I just felt really out of place in this unknown territory. Okay, so gotta at least make it look, sort of resemble what one would think when they think of sandbags. I didn't really plan to put them this close, but it's okay. Just kind of doing random shapes. Ovular, somewhat circular shapes here. Not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. I was going for, like I said, like a teardrop shape, but you just never know what's gonna happen around here. It's close enough, kind of just looks like some messed up teeth or something. I'm gonna try to get precarious with this buttermilk and get on the tip, just the very tip, so we can sort of do, sometimes they'll have like something like that, whatever, you know, sort of like a rope, I guess. It's probably a rope. I'm not too familiar with, you know, the sort of the technical layout of a hot air balloon basket, so we're just going off of instincts and, you know, the stuff you see on TV. I figured it looks kind of better if I just connect them all. Obviously they're kind of bunched up in there. I could make, but I mean, it's, you know, it's, if they really are racing these things, I doubt they have perfect, like, sandbag placement. You wouldn't want to get too even with the sandbags, I guess. I'm assuming again. I shouldn't assume about hot air balloon races, but so I'm like Jimmy full of grace there, just waiting. I had been listening to Rio by Duran Duran the whole plane ride because that was gonna surprise Rio, you know, her name. I was gonna surprise her with this song because I knew we were gonna do karaoke because that was just inevitable. All right, so we got some black. I'm gonna go ahead and do like I'm trying to get the thinnest brush I can. They look thin and then it's deceiving. It's very deceiving. These brushes are, it's like that movie with Richard Gere, Unfaithful or something. It's like these brushes are not very faithful because it's like, you know, it looks small enough, but then you get in there and it's like the line is way thicker than you anticipated. So we'll do this. It's pretty good. That turned out decent. D for decent. Get a little bit more brave here with this. Okay, that's about as far as I'm gonna go. It looks hot air balloonish enough. See, I could just do just a couple little more. But no, there's no point. Because people, if I put 2 more lines, it doesn't necessarily, wait, I could go angular, and that would look, you know, this might be a little more impressive. You always paint over it, if not. Yeah, see, that's kind of cool. It's, you know, adding a little bit more intricacy to it. Make this a little thicker. It's a little too thick, but again, these brushes, you can't trust them. These Walmart brushes. So it's like, I had, you know, just for weeks had Rio by Duran Duran in my head for weeks on end after. She picks me up, she takes me to her house, and you know, once you know it, I walk in, there's some random guy just on the couch again. I was just like, man, what are the odds? It's just like, just visions of the Carlo Rossi, Crazy Straw, Polly girl just fire danced through my head. Visions of her, fire danced through my head. I got one head, so well, technically, but all right. So we're gonna jump back to we're getting some more black with a bigger brush. Actually, no, we're doing white because I'm gonna lay the foundation so this can dry. It's a white circle. So we're gonna jump into the circle game again. Peanut butter, she's a big fan. We're gonna use one of these good brushes. See, these are the Subaru Outbacks of brushes. So we're gonna do a white circle. So I'm gonna have to get white from the big one, the big container. It's like a quart. It's a quart of white paint. So, yeah, so it's like I walk in, this guy's on the couch. I thought I had stumbled into another polyamorous enclave of sorts. And then even worse than that, he was even more off-putting than that. He was watching Sex and the City. So then I was like, well, it's cool. I don't gotta worry about this guy. Because, well, I mean, it was her cousin. Turned out to be her cousin. He was crashing there. Which, that's what I like to call the girl that crashes here. I call her Crashy. I call her Crashy as a nickname. She's not the biggest fan of it, but it's just, it's all in, you know, good fun and just out of love. She always thinks I'm calling her Trashy. But, you know, I always tell her, it's like, no, Trashy is the name of the garbage can in the bathroom. There can't be two Trashies here. It'd be too confusing. So you're Crashy, and that's Trashy in the bathroom. Where you're always throwing way too much toilet paper. It's like, throw your toilet paper in the toilet. Why are you throwing it? She's worried she's gonna clog the toilet. I have a plunger. Crashy. All right, so, ooh, I guess we'll be starting right there. That's fine. Obviously, that did not give me any kind of thing to work with. It's very, very faded. Like Crashy, just kidding. So, all right, we're just gonna, now again, the nice thing about this is kind of like that, where we can just, as long as the edges are pretty good, then we don't really have to worry about the interior, because we're gonna paint the whole thing white. And then you can even make it, I could even make it bigger if I needed to. I'm gonna go ahead and just start filibuster in that end. So, there, see, turned out pretty good. So, that Globby, the paint angel, helped us. Instead of Gloopy. Gloopy got to us over there. I mostly fixed it. It's pretty solid though. It's turned out pretty nice. Actually, probably gonna make this a little bit bigger. So we'll just wrap around. So of course, yeah, she takes me to the hottest karaoke spot in town, called the Cooler Lounge. It's quite an anachronism, I guess, if you could say, for, you know. Oh man, I did it. That's okay. We're gonna make it bigger. Dragging my pinky in the paint. So it's like, you know, it's a cooler lounge. I mean, it's another anachronism because it wasn't very cool in there. Their AC must have been broken, so it was like. But she took me into the secret sort of just entrance that's exclusively reserved for sort of like music acts and karaoke DJs. Apparently, I felt like Ray Liotta in the opening scene of Goodfellas by Martin Scorsese. What does he say? Says he. Martin Scorsese. But it's not long before, you know, everyone's knee deep in picklebacks and just ranting and raving about. Apparently, there's this local sort of karaoke DJ KJ turf war. It's been heating up, possibly could be getting deadly. I was like, what? I said, what? Before I could even ask him to extrapolate on the possibility of a deadly karaoke turf war, which just sounds insane, he shifted the conversation. Well, this is her cousin. Her cousin is also a KJ. His name is KJ Crazy. That's how he says it's pronounced, because it's spelled K-R-A-Z-A-Y. So I didn't ask him why, because, well, he's DJ Crazy, so he's pretty crazy if he's getting involved in karaoke DJ turf war. So that's the type of crazy you don't want to mess with. Now, it's mostly covered. I mean, we're gonna hope that this dries by the time we need to get back to it. I've laid it on pretty thick, so. Look, we got a great circle there. Peanut butter ting, she loves the circles. Two pretty good solid circles. A decent oval balloon shape there. So yeah, before, you know, we could extrapolate this karaoke DJ turf war, he's already jumping into the disagreement between red and green chilies. So there's a red and green chili war, karaoke turf war, lots of conflict. You can probably hear the refrigerator. Yeah, woke it up. I guess I was talking too loud. I woke the refrigerator up. We'll try to figure that out somehow. I mean, hopefully, you know, it's like, maybe it's just kind of like the washing machine or the dryer going, you know, in the background. Just maybe it'll help lull you to sleep. Again, we talked about you could go to sleep to these. You can paint along if you want. You could paint your own thing, I guess. I don't know. You could try to paint this. I don't know who would want to. It's very specific. So all right. So the next one, we got the black. So yeah, this is insane. So red and green chilies. He's going on about, and thankfully, my name was called. But then, not so thankfully, because, again, it was Rio by Duran, which I totally biffed it. All right, so now this is a part where this could get real weird because, all right, remember Atomic Bomb, Trinity, Los Alamos, Manhattan Project, New Mexico. It's where it originated. So we're going to try to do a radioactive sign here, the radioactive symbol. So the best way I could say to do it would be a sort of yellow. So we're just going to use black, and then just you have to let the yellow peek through as the radiation symbol. So it's essentially, because that could turn out pretty good. I mean, obviously, again, proportions, measurements are going to be completely out of whack. We're just going to try to do our best. All right, so probably actually need to look. If you just excuse me for a second, it'd actually be better if I check this out. I really need to make sure the integrity of this is proper. I've got the paint computer going over here, so there's nothing to worry about. We're just consulting the paint computer. Or the paint pewter, if you want to, if you will, if you could, if you wanted to, but it's kind of cute when you say paint pewter. Okay, so just gotta go up a little bit more here. Yeah, see, we were good on this, the top part, because there's gonna be another sort of black thing, whatever they're called. I don't know what it's called, but a radioactive tri symbol. Okay, it's turned out pretty good, but one thing I do have to do is I have to get more narrow with this. Okay, that's pretty good. It's not too bad. This was I was just as much in fear of this as the little thingies, the little sun rays. Because I was like, how am I going to draw these oblong, sort of like headless triangles? It's a lot like what they are. They're like headless triangles or something, I don't know. Topless triangles. Triangles gone wild. And I say topless because they don't have like a point at the top. It's probably not the technical term for like a pointless triangle. But these aren't pointless because these are obviously pointing out radioactivity. It's good thing I didn't do that song. I would have really biffed that one. I'm trying to make those a little bit thicker. See, they need to go down just a little bit more. But I don't want to mess up the points. We got some decent points on there. I mean, obviously this, again, Rorschach blot, if people saw this, it's essentially exactly what it is. I doubt anyone would question it. Okay, that's actually looking a lot better. I'm gonna attack this on the other side, this other one from the other side. And watch my footing here because plenty of accidents on this show. Okay. Yeah, so it's about as good as it's gonna get. Because my paint knees are killing me. Need those novice paint knee pads. Alright, so. And then the idea is I'd like to draw like a circle around it. Now I'm pretty decent at doing like the fill-in circle, but to do like a thin line circle around, that's where you get into like risky business territory. Now, see, my head's gonna block this a little bit because I need to make sure, I really wanna make sure I get the proportions mostly correct. Mostly. They come around at night. Mostly. It's from Aliens, the sequel to Aliens. It's a little famous kind of quote there. It's not as funny as I was frozen today, but it's an oft-quoted movie quote. Okay, so this one might be a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But again, this is coming together. It's like, you look at that, people just, it's radioactive. It's radioactive. It's definitely radioactive. So I totally biffed Rio. No one they weren't even really paying attention. They were too busy discussing the finer points and the ins and outs and the strategy and the battle plans of the karaoke turf wars. So I just went and got my own pickleback by myself. We're kind of done with this one right now. So I'm gonna throw that in the soapy washer. Paint in this guy. All right, so now I knew I got called up again. Because again, preferential treatment. Ray Liotta, Goodfellas, opening scene. Preferential treatment at the Cooler Lounge. And now I knew I said this stuck to frickin' Eminem and Vanilla Ice. Or Weird Al, because I decided, it'd be funny to do my own sort of Weird Al song. lyrics. And by doing so, I completely, I didn't know that, of course, Rio had this marriage or this engagement proposal go wrong or haywire or something. And I mean, how was I supposed to know that she had been proposed to while that song Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper from that movie, Be a Star or something, I don't know. Totally don't remember the name of the movie, but that song apparently was playing in the background when she was proposed to, which went wrong. I mean, and how was I supposed to know that she would be offended by me changing the lyrics from "We're far from the shallow now" to "I'll fart on your shadow now"? Like, that was the last thing in the world. So I like that. That was the last thing in the world I ever expected anyone to be offended by, was farting on a shadow. Like, who gets offended by farting on shadows? If anything, it's a good thing, because shadows are usually scary. Like, shadow people, we've talked about shadow people before, and don't be scared of them, because you can just fart on them. You can just fart on shadows. It's like, what does this world come to? It really is too sensitive when you can't even fart on shadows. But I understood, because there was, deep meaning behind the song for her. So I respected. I respected her anger. Totally respected. But it ruined the night. Totally ruined the night. She was gonna bring me to this, what I assumed was another sort of late night, hip, cool, hot spot for clubbing called B-Dubs. She was going to take me to this place called B-Dubs. But nope, she was too mad. So we just went home and her home, and just went to sleep. I mean, those picklebacks really put us to sleep, so it wasn't long before we were waking up, and it's like nothing ever even happened. It's like I never farted on a shadow last night. She was fine. And then she ended up, it's pretty sweet. She ended up taking me to B-Dubs, and I was just completely lost. I was confused. It's like, really? Isn't it a little too early to go to a club for lunch? We woke up pretty late. And I just felt like such a dork. Just a dork. Cause it was B-Dubs, it was Buffalo Wild Wings. Just give me a break. Folks, give me a break. Just want to make sure maybe I should go a little bit, because the paint likes to spread. So we're going to try to go with a more narrow. Yeah, there we go. That's good. It's going to take a minute, but we got some time. Yeah, so it's freaking Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, I thought I was about to go to, I don't know where I was about to go, but it wasn't Buffalo Wild Wings. It took me until I had gotten home to understand where the nickname even came from, because it's two W's. I get it, Dubs. Because I don't know, in my mind it was like, if it was just Buffalo Wing, it would be B-Dub. Right, peanut butter? Alright. So, I'm going to try to keep this straight. Obviously, this is going longer than I thought. Oh, that's probably the longest uninterrupted line. That's a Guinness record for longest uninterrupted, I can't even talk. Can't even talk. Because I'm so excited by this. That was the longest uninterrupted line on the show. Oh, man. Oh, gotta make sure. Oh, see? I almost revealed too much of The Secrets of the Ooze. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's about the same as it was. Alright, so I got really wavy right there. But again, that's the organic style. New age outlaw of paint. Remember that. Always, I guess ideally we would just come up, but see what I'm going to do is come down a little bit more there. I'm going to just go ahead and meet it down there. So luckily she forgave me for the farting on the shadow and took me to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I got this really good wrap. And it totally rekindled my love of wraps that was destroyed by the desert dwellers in episode 3 of the Overpaint. Through their lack of wraps when I was promised. Okay, I wasn't promised wraps, but there was insinuation that there'd be wraps where we went. And when there wasn't wraps, well, it really turned me off of wraps. Like, if you're gonna say there's gonna be wraps there and there's not wraps, you kind of lose your taste for wraps. At least that's what I've discovered. Maybe people have had different experiences with wraps, but mine in the last couple years weren't that great, so. Boom. It's got character, texture on the edges. All right, so hot air balloons, atom bomb, not the former WWE superstar, WWF at the time. So now we can go up. We can get all up in this yellow paint. It's totally dry. Wait, make sure we don't got any wet paint on there. So let's see. Bring that up a little bit more. Okay, just gotta concentrate. I'm not used to having the paint go this far. It's really throwing me off. It's crazy. If you've seen the other lines I've done, I rarely do long lines. It's usually short lines. It's like just a little bit at a time. You know, you don't want too much at once. It's usually the first rule of doing lines is you don't want too much. You know, when you're doing these paint lines, you don't want too much. So we're just gonna bring this sucker down. So I am gonna kind of just go a little bit at a time. Kind of lost my bravery from the other ones. I just didn't even think about it. The other ones just boom, boom, boom. Boom shakalaka. He's on fire. That's what I felt like. Okay, boom. I'm trying to be precise with how much I have on here because it's like it's squirting out of the paintbrush handle. It's like I have a reserve reservoir of paint in there and it just keeps coming out. Giving me more paint magically. It's magically paintlicious. So, and then, after rekindling my love of wraps, she asked me, I got really thick on that one. But again, it's a key telltale sign of the organic style. So, and you know, in the future, when 6G is available, and paint archivists are, you know, they'll be like, that's a key aspect of the organic style. Nobody's gonna be judging it though. I mean, they'd be wiping their something with it instead. I keep hitting my paint table over here, so I saw some yellow in there. All right, it's probably a lot more than. Yeah, see, obviously, these are curvy and textury, wavy, whatever you want to call them. One of as many synonyms you could use, I guess. And then, so you want that too. There's a synchronicity to the waviness. All right, so now this is going to be a tricky part. We're going to continue to use this brush. Now, I highly doubt this white is dry enough. We're gonna eye it. We're gonna do the eye test. Gonna let it, again, you know, I have these contacts that can stay in for maximum of 8 hours, but they do help with wetness tests. This is the truest wetness test, though. Ooh, wow, it's really incredibly dry. It's way more dry than I thought it's gonna be. So maybe since we're mostly out of this black, we're gonna jump into this red. We're gonna do a key part of that thing, which, well, as I do it, I'll let you know what it is. It's not that special, really. It's special to New Mexico. So then, Rio, she asked me one of the hardest questions that women tend to ask, or just anybody. A lot of people probably ask this question, or have at some point. But she was like, "What's the one thing you want to leave with? What's the one thing you want to go home with?" And I was just, well, I got some Butterfingers around here, and she was just like, well, I really would. The first thing that popped to my mind was poncho. That's the one thing I want to go home with. I mean, I thought about authentic, maybe like an authentic empanada. But really can't say, I could have taken it home, but I don't know if they would have gotten, their part would have gotten mad if I would have been trying to sneak empanadas across state lines. I don't know. It might be illegal to sort of traffic empanadas across state lines. I've never seen The Wire, but I'd imagine they'd cover empanada trafficking. But no, I wanted a poncho. A freaking poncho. Alright, so now this is going to be tricky a little bit. A little tricky, not a lot tricky. Well, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Actually, we won't even know until we do it. But see, this thing emulates the little edges here, the sunshine rays. Somebody's going crazy outside. What the heck is that? What is that, people? Is the door locked? Alright, so I'm gonna make sure it's in the middle. Okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great either. It's not like somebody's chopping wood or something. Like breaking down a bunk bed or something. I don't know. Maybe they're breaking down a bunk bed for the spare wood or something. Try to think of the best. Don't think negative. Just think of if you get scared, just think of bunk beds. There we go. Cool. That's a lot better. Is your painstaking? I think that the fridge is taking a nap now. I think it's finally got bored. So we're gonna try to match. There we go. That turned out pretty lovely. And then see, we'll do two small ones on the side. So you can see where this is going. Synchronicity. But yeah, she took me around town too. Before we went on the poncho journey, she showed me the Netflix studio. Well, I saw the outside of it. So it's just basically I got to see like a dozen nondescript beige warehouses. I thought I saw the guy from Squid Games. I was like, yes, Squid Games season 2 confirmed. If I was a tweeter, I would totally tweet this. And it'd probably get a DMCA notice. I don't even know it. But so it turned out it was just some random guy just in a green tracksuit, just jogging around. I guess he knew him too. But I thought, yeah, it'd be kind of weird to have a sort of a South Korean production or a South Korean series being produced in Albuquerque. But then who knows? It's Land of Enchantment. Remember? Land of Enchantment, remember? So we're going all over town for this poncho. I thought this would just be really super simple. I mean, if there was one thing I figured that would be easy to get, would be a poncho. I mean, I guess they were sort of everywhere. I guess I was really being very particular about, this was like the exact style that I had in my mind the whole time. And it came to fruition. So we're gonna jump down here. Do the big ones first. All right, they're a little bit thicker. Well, I mean, to my eye, to my busted eyes, but I think we make it a little bit longer. It'll look thinner. That's the thing. The longer something looks, the thinner the impression it can give. Okay, so I'm gonna match that. It's a mesh game. Just get another long one in here. Yeah, so finding a poncho, I mean, I was looking for the perfect poncho. And again, not just any poncho, the perfect poncho. And she was excited to help me find one, and it was like, she made it seem like she knew the most reputable poncho dealers in town, and that she knew exactly where to go. But we went there, and I mean, oh wait, maybe you should, okay, cool, that's going good, yeah. So we go to this area, and it's like sort of like one of those big auto malls, but for ponchos, apparently, because it's like a poncho market. As a matter of fact, it was actually called Poncho's Market, or Poncho's Poncho Market. Oddly enough. So we just need another little one here. It turned out pretty nice. This is going a lot more swimmingly than I thought. We're approaching an hour, but again, so the plan is to have one more episode 6, and that will complete sort of the first collection, the Jimmy Novice Collection 1, I guess, if you will. If you want to call it that, I don't know, I was thinking of calling it that. But it's already like a cumulative, it's already longer than a whole season of Ozark, and not just like a half a season, mid-season thing. I mean, it's like the whole, like 13 episodes. But this is only going to be 6 episodes, so I'm sure you can tell. And don't expect me to, again, I just want to reiterate that I'm not going to be dressing thematically for every episode. It's just not realistic. Like, because eventually I'm going to be doing the anniversary of the Prince soundtrack, Batman soundtrack album, and there's no way I can paint. It'd be impossible to paint with the Batman suit the Michael Keaton version went on. I gotta turn my head to paint. Like, I gotta be able to turn my head independently of my torso. It'd be a real difficult task. Just long one. Okay, just don't hesitate here. Help me, peanut butter. Okay, so I don't have the power of seeing his wristbands this time. I mean, they're here in spirit because they're nearby. Someone keeps rearranging the paint cave, and I don't know where the Cena wristbands, the homemade Cena wristbands went. They're somewhere. Yeah, hopefully you'll stick around long enough, hopefully, to get to the Prince Batman soundtrack episode, because I sure am anticipating that one. See, you hear those kids? Up past their bedtime, I told you. Maybe they were the ones chopping wood. Maybe they were making a bunk bed. Because I remember as a kid, that was like my biggest dream, to have a bunk bed. It's like, should I sleep on top or bottom tonight? It's always cool to sleep on top, of course. But you like to switch it up sometimes, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna pretend, I'm gonna make like a little cave and sleep on the bottom bunk and put the sheet down. Have a flashlight, read scary stories to tell in the dark. Good times, bunk beds, good times. I gotta bring that in because I brought this little one in a little bit, so I can even make this one a little bit thicker. Kind of messing it up, but I was just really discouraged with the spacing. That's fine. Do another little one there. I mean, we were on a great roll with those, but it's the organic style. It's, you know, it's not about precision. I mean, it's precision, attempted precision, but it's not always precise. It's attempted precision, but it's not always precise. Just another, another sort of a line in the book of novice painting, the organic style. The organic style of painting. It's a chapter in there. Okay. See, it's looking pretty interesting, pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So I do say so myself. All right, so just 4 more. Oh man, my knees are gonna be bruised. They're gonna be bruised. All right, so gotta avoid these red ones. This is like it's a video game here. It's like an old school video game. It's like simple but hard. I gotta really eye this. So don't mind my big red head. So I start with small. See, I was getting kind of shaky. Oh well, it got way thicker than I wanted, but again, for the umpteenth time, organic. Organics. It's organic. Long and it's strong. It's down to get the friction on. So, ladies, I know that doesn't look very good. Do you want to own my Mercedes? Probably not with the way this line work is here. Okay, that one was much more assured. I really got funky with that one. Funky with those two. They got really funky. Like these, man, I don't know what happened. I let the spirit of willy-nilly get inside me. Dang old willy-nilly. See? He strikes again. But in a way it's kind of cool because it looks sort of flamey. Kind of just, you know, it's flaming. I like it. So I am just gonna, see, normally there would be a red circle around this thing because, okay, the secret's out. This is the state route marker of New Mexico, the official state route marker of New Mexico. There's a cat's out the bag. So what I'm gonna do is take black and write 120. It's as simple as that. So we're gonna actually end up doing this. This is gonna be a 3-parter because, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the 120. I'm gonna do most of the UFO, but there's some stuff that has to be painted onto UFO. Some yellow stuff. Just try to check this out, yeah. It's pretty fun. That turned out, see, it's very hot air balloon-ish. It's, per se, hot air balloon-ish. Hot air balloon-ish. It's like when they can't say a cuss word in rap songs, they say ish. Like Ishmael, come here Ishmael. All right, so, now this is not, that's not the one that we're really looking for. I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the one that we use. That one's too thick, it's too thick. So many brushes, so little shapes or something. I don't know, see that might be too thick, I don't know. Let's sort of see. Actually, this will be perfect. El perfecto. That means perfect, or the perfect, I think. So it's a 1, a 2, and a 0. It's as simple as that. All right, for good luck. All right, we want this. We're gonna use these as a guide. Those were lined up pretty decent for eyeing, just totally eyeing it. And a brace ourselves. No, actually, this is gonna be easier if I do the base of the 1. Actually, it doesn't have, no. So yeah, it's not like a classic like 1, it's just like a 1. They keep it real simple. Boom. Get a little bit more to tail up from the bottom up so we can get some synchronicity in the globs. Boom. Just gonna make it. Well, I'm just make it a little bit thicker since I put that little nubbin on there. It's always one little thing that just messes up the whole freaking economy of the thing. Very good, that's pretty good actually. Boom. All right, that's obviously a 1. Almost looks like it's like a space ball, like a futuristic baseball. All right, so the 2 might be tricky. We know all about tricky, risky business on the show. So it's nothing new, so let's don't be afraid. Another kiss for good luck. Gonna do a 2. So we're actually gonna, this is where I can do the base first and have a good starting point. Boom, see, and then we'll just wrap up, and there's 2. There's a 2 for you. It's a twofer. It's a twofer. So we're gonna wrap this sucker up. Oh wow, so it's got that boot shape. It's like that perfect sort of round with the points. It's a classic 2, vintage 2, vintage number 2 here. It's truly vintage. Almost looks like a Hall of Fame retirement thing for a baseball player who had the number 120. Okay, so, it wasn't the best 2. Not the best 2, but it's not the worst 2 either. It's not the worst 2. Boom. It's a pretty good 2. It's a pretty good 2. It's not the worst 2. It's not the best 2. Oh yeah, so we gotta do a 0. Now 0 is pretty easy. They're pretty just basically circles, like ovular circles. Or you could do circular 0s, but it seems like traditionally classic vintage 0s are more ovular in their shape. But again, we want this to be, we don't want to touch the red. It's like the buzzer, it's like Dr. whatever that video game, that old school board game is, where it buzzes, like, touch the red paint. Remember that game, Peanut? What's the name of that game, Peanut? Ooh, it's not turning out too great. Gotta get below the lines. Okay, it's coming together actually. Remember, a circle, it's just 2 C's. Just 2 C's coming together for a good time in the pyramid of love. See, that's why I should have called Luxor the pyramid of love. That would have been very fitting. I didn't think of it at the time though. Thinking of it now, so that's okay. It's the pyramid of love. Making sure there's no paint. You get those sneaky pinkies. Okay, that's a pretty good 0. I just feel like I can make it better. Sometimes trying to make it better makes it worse, but it's obviously 120. If you were driving by that state marker, there's no mistaking it for anything else. It's a 1, a 2, and a 0. All right, so, all right, so we'll do part of this UFO. because there's no point, and it seems like we didn't really do much again, but it's very intricate work with this and making sure. I mean, my nose itches. Sometimes your nose itches. I scratched it. It's very intricate work. So we're gonna take, again, we got this big thing of black. Actually, I think we have enough black in our opened one already. So yeah, we do. We've got plenty of black in here. All right, it's multi-surface satin. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to go too heavy with the black right now because I don't know necessarily how far we're going to get with this UFO. I'm going to use that same one that we used so we can have some amount of precision that we can then just blend it. Or not blend it, but we can, color it in essentially like we did with the balloon. Once we get the rough shape, we can just fill it in. So we got some black. All right, actually I need to stand up. We're gonna do this UFO. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna tilt it even more than it is. It's very slightly tilted up here. I'm gonna tilt it more so that, because it's actually gonna be grabbing something symbolic of New Mexico, which is, we're switching things up, we're making it fun, where this side of the painting is interacting with this side, sort of, again, dual painting tag team of sorts. Getting that air out of there. All right, so, ooh, almost dropped it. Okay, so there's sort of like a bowl-ish shape at the top. Now see, I want to get the angles right. So I'm going to just kind of do it like, yeah, really had to concentrate on that one. It looks like a car going down a cliff or something, but it's definitely not what it is. It should emulate, hopefully look very much like, well, close enough to this flying saucer or UAP, they like to say now, apparently. But the great thing about a silhouette, again, is we can just fill it in. So we could always manipulate sort of the sides, or like the outside of it, so the shape. So it doesn't have to be perfect, the first time. I think I tilted it maybe a little too much, but it's all right. We can sort of make it, we can sort of manipulate, the shape of the dome and take it down a little bit more if we want. Kind of extend that out. Not worry about the yellow showing through there. At this point, at least. I sure will before too long, but sorry, I'm getting a little soft-spoken. I'm getting really sort of mesmerized by this painting process. I think the aliens are psychically contacting me or something and trying to help me avoid embarrassing myself by doing a haphazard representation of one of their hottest new vehicles. Because they're like, this guy better get it right. This is one of our best designs. He better get this freaking UFO right. It's one of our best designs. And he's mucking it up. All right, so, yeah, again, see, UFO, this thing does not have to be, it already basically looks like a UFO. It doesn't have to look exactly. Like, there's so many different shapes of UFOs. Like, if you ever seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they were using all kinds of weird stuff. Like, they used like a scuba mask with like Christmas lights on it. They basically just took anything they had sitting in the garage and just attached Christmas lights to it. It's very low budget. That's why it made tons of money. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna make this just a little bit more curvy so we can get that, the other, because there's like a little, there's the dome part, and then there's sort of the actual sort of saucer part, and there's like a ball at the end of that. So that's gonna come down, that ball, we're gonna have lines coming out like that with the cow. Because I've decided the cows, it's too difficult. It's because, and I found it's not giving up though. It's just, I found a better way to represent this is the great state of New Mexico by, well, it'll be a surprise. I'm using one PBJ novice painting audible. That's, so there's about 999,999,000 paint audibles left. So we got plenty left. There we go. It's really coming together. If you just kind of take your time and just hope for the best and just plod along and just push forward, keep going forward. Remember peanut butter, remembers that. That's an easy one. Just keep going forward, folks. I see some yellow peeking through, unless it's just the light shining on the UAP. Is UAP peanut butter? All right, good. All right, there we go. So I'm liking it. We're gonna brush off this black. Just want to check validities of production. Now this sucker, as I'm telling you, it's gonna be, it ended up being 2.5 hours. I thought it was gonna be 2. Maybe, it's an hour and a half I was aiming for. But I get to talking a lot, it's a good time. It's a good time, and I hope it's a good time for the folks at home, and just, so it's like, I just like to take my time, take your time. There's no rush, there's no need to rush stuff. So, I'm gonna grab, again, it's different. This is for there's some more like sort of antenna things up there. Now I'm worried this is maybe just a little too thick. So I'm just gonna look for one that's just a little bit more, maybe it's just, it's more narrow again. We're looking for narrow. Now this could work. Now this one, it did deceive us. One of those, I think it deceived us on that one, but we're gonna put some trust in you again. So let's get back to the black. Now I have to look at this sideways. My head's gonna be in the way just to make sure I want these antennae right. Boom, see? It's exactly what I was going for. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling when you jump in and it turns out, moss, just fantastical. You're probably gonna see some redhead again, but maybe not. Okay, yeah, boom. It's looking mighty fine. I mean, that black is just really contrasts well, obviously, with the yellow, of course. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and, I mean, there's a couple more things we could technically do. I guess we might as well do it. It'd be safer to do it than not to do it. So I'm gonna take, go ahead and take this one again. We're gonna just, and that refrigerator is so buzzy. It's like a regular old Buzz Aldrin refrigerator. That's how I call the trash in the bathroom trashy. It's not you crashy, it's trashy. I'm gonna call the refrigerator buzzy. We got buzzy and crashy in here. It's insane. We got peanut butter, buzzy, crashy. See, because of all that, I totally forgot to put on the Novice Painting Paint Cave official lights. It probably looked really drab back there. I'm sorry, guys, but we're gonna make it up to you in part 3. I really thought this was gonna get 2 parts, but all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Okay, so it's sort of like a saucery thing. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit longer on this side. See, we got angry people around here. They're slamming doors. Don't slam doors. No slamming doors in my house. All right, so I keep going down. I just gotta stay up. Gotta stay up. Now, we definitely want a line between that. So we're just gonna start off. We're not gonna worry about the edges, but we're gonna start off with getting a line there that makes sure we have a yellow line in the middle. Take our time. Again, the show is not about perfection. We've said it that's my word. It's a number 100 times. We've said it 100 times. It's like 1,100 times. 100. We're not going for perfection. See? But that was okay because we're gonna fill that in. All right, so, but again, I'm gonna bring this down a little bit lower. All right, yeah, so I was thinking maybe I should bring that down just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Yeah, all right, cool. So, and then this, it's gonna be tricky because I've never sort of done something like this. It's a weird turn. See? I think someone had a bad day at work or something, I don't know. See, we're gonna go ahead and fill this in just part way because there's kind of they probably used some yellow sort of on, well, if you could see the detail on this matchbook, this isn't exactly kind of like but it's fine again because, you know, we're not, like, again, I'm not even doing the cow, so this is just, you know, we went another creative direction. We changed creative directions. And that's something we can do on this show. Right, Peanut Butter? We can change creative directions anytime we choose. I apologize for the slamming of doors. Gives some real flavor to the atmosphere though, right? It's a nice sort of risky business, you know, it's dangerous around here. Dangerous ambiance. Okay, so you probably heard this sucker just goes off. It's like, what in the world? This thing? You gotta be kidding me with this. What kind of fridge is this thing? Must be a whirlpool or something. I'm not even up to speed on the quality of you know, kitchen appliances. Barely really know how to use them half the time. All right, so we're gonna get a little bit more in there. Kind of turned out pretty cool, actually. See, there's just like this ball thing that comes out, but yeah, okay, this has got to be a little bit wider at the top here. It's decent. It's okay, see, because there's actually this big ball that comes out that's sort of at the bottom. So it ends up working. We make just like we accidentally put that glob of the white there and it turned into the perfect spot for the circle. Everything happens for reasons. Reasons. Now there is sort of a yellow line that goes through there. So again, when that dries, we're gonna put sort of these yellow sort of portholes, I guess. I think that's the vernacular that they've given these UAPs, UAPs. Man, between macaroni rascals, mac and cheese, and UAPs, sure I'm hungry. Because of course UAPs makes me think of apps. From Chili's. Just trying to stay round. See, remember I gotta go at this at an angle because this thing sideways. Okay, that's not too bad, actually. Yeah, so what we'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and scrape this black off. Looks like sort of the football paint under their eyes. Or baseball, football. They say that doesn't even really work, having the black paint under your eyes. They say it doesn't even really do anything. It's just kind of cool at this point. It's like war paint or something. It's like Ultimate Warrior. All right, so I'm gonna take a slightly thicker one here. Yeah, and we're gonna. I mean, it didn't really. Again, proportions don't really matter with these. These are close encounters ships, spaceships, UAPs, because again, they're just. I mean, they had freaking R2-D2 for crying out loud on one of their spaceships, so obviously they weren't real serious about trying to be authentic. So I'm not really worried about it either. But it's kind of turned out to be, I think, even more sort of unique than what I like to call the Richard Dreyfuss UFOs. In Close Encounters of the Third Kind. See, we almost had dots on that Cena painting, which would have gotten you Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind with their ultimate dimensionality. Just trying to make sure that's more ball-like. Just want it more LaMelo Ball-like, but yeah, it looks super spaceshipy. But I feel like I'm getting way too much and trying to get too much in detail here, but okay, so see, I feel like I was getting, actually no, okay, see, it's pretty awesome so far. So, and then when we put the portholes, the yellow portholes, another little yellow line will make this sort of look like sort of some anti-gravity sort of device that's sucking up. Who knows? It's not going to be a cow. And then we're going to I'll go ahead and put that red line on there. We'll do the yellow portholes, the yellow line. We'll do the black lines, and we'll do whatever that thing is sucking it up, and we'll do the order line, and we'll finish it up in part 3. I promise. I frickin' promise this time. There's still lots to talk about. How I got home, how I escaped the karaoke, turf, red and green chili wars safely. Hopefully you're curious about how I did make it home safely, because this was quite the harrowing experience. Actually, it didn't. I mean, I'm exaggerating. It didn't get that cray. I mean, it didn't get as crazy as KJ Crazy. It got a little bit wow, but it's just fun. Just fun. It was fun. It's a good time. It's a good time, right, Peanut Butter? It's a good time today for part 2. Promise we'll get right back. It's not going to take long. So thanks for joining us, and remember, of course, we usually just say at the end of the actual episode, happiness, never lost. I'm going to have those blue lights on, part 3. All right, promise, we'll see you in part 3. So just chill for the next paint episode or part. All right.